Republicans and Donald Trump push forward on a DHS shutdown deal, but a resolution is not yet in sight. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen has been sworn in as a new DHS secretary.
A new law that would prohibit counting late mail-in ballots could soon take effect. ICE agents have been deployed to airports to assist with security operations during the partial government shutdown. Welcome to Boo TV. I'm Allison Padula, and this is Alexis Hilton.
Republican lawmakers proposed a new deal that would end the nearly 6-week-long shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security, but Senate Democrats have rejected the offer, keeping negotiations open. This development comes as airport security lines have reached a tipping point, with hundreds of unpaid TSA workers resigning fully and many more calling out daily. Senator Katie Britt, a Republican from Alabama, leads a Senate subcommittee that oversees DHS funding. She told reporters that an agreement may be on the horizon. The Republican proposal would fund most of DHS, including agencies like TSA and FEMA, but excludes roughly $5.5 billion for immigration and customs enforcement. Democrats say the deal does not go far enough in addressing concerns over ICE policies and are pushing for additional reforms. GOP lawmakers have suggested that ICE funding could be addressed later through the budget reconciliation process, which only requires a simple majority vote in the Senate. On Monday, Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, a Republican from Oklahoma, was confirmed as the new Secretary of DHS. He was then sworn in on Tuesday in a ceremony at the White House with President Donald Trump. Alan Armstrong, an energy executive picked by Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt to fill Mullen's Senate seat, was sworn in on Tuesday as well. The conservative Supreme Court questioned whether states should be allowed to count ballots that are mailed on time but arrive after Election Day. 9 justices heard Donald Trump's opposition to mail-in voting and urged Congress to ban it in most cases. The court is considering a Mississippi law that allows mail-in ballots to be counted if they are postmarked by Election Day. The concern is that the case could have implications for the midterm elections in November, when voters will decide which party controls the House and Senate. Based on oral arguments, the court is closely divided over a federal law that sets election deadlines and may prevent ballots from being counted if received after that date. Other judges questioned a ruling that limits late arriving ballots, saying it could also raise concerns about the legality of early voting. The Trump administration says the Election Day law prevents late arriving ballots but does not bar early voting.
On Friday, District Judge Paul Friedman in Washington, D.C. agreed to block the Trump administration from enforcing a policy limiting news reporters' access to the Pentagon, siding with the New York Times that key portions of the new rules are unlawful. The New York Times sued the Pentagon and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth in December, claiming the credentialing policy violated journalists' constitutional rights to free speech and due process. Friedman said the policy failed to provide fair notice of what routine, lawful journalistic practices will result in denial or suspension of Pentagon press credentials. He ruled that it violates the First and Fifth Amendment rights to free speech and due process. The Pentagon disagrees with this decision and is pursuing an immediate appeal. President Trump and his administration has developed ICE and other Homeland Security agents to at least 14 of U.S. airports. With this, many TSA agents called out or have resigned from their positions entirely. This includes more than 3,400 TSA officers on Sunday who called out, totaling nearly 12% of all TSA officers who were scheduled to work. This has led to severe staffing shortages and TSA wait times for passengers of up to 6 hours. In addition to the new ICE changes, New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill signed a law on Wednesday, March 25th, that bans law enforcement agents, including ICE, from wearing masks. This new law comes after Governor Sherrill signed an executive order with the intent to protect citizens from potential misconduct. She also launched an online portal for New Jersey residents to report incidents involving federal agents.
After 6 long years of construction, Ardmore Station opened a new platform on Monday. The platform closed in 2019 so that SEPTA could rebuild it and make it fully accessible for their passengers with disabilities. The new platform has ramps and an elevator. Andrew Bush, a SEPTA spokesperson, says they are very excited to have it open. The $60 million budget was also used on a new parking lot, a waiting area with restrooms, and high-level platforms that will allow passengers to get off trains more efficiently. The project took much longer than anticipated due to several issues, especially the pandemic and supply chain disruptions. SEPTA is thrilled to be sharing this new upgrade with its passengers. Philadelphia Mayor Parker announced her plan to raise the rideshare tax from 20 cents to $1 to help fund Philadelphia schools. It is being proposed to help stop the staffing cuts in Philadelphia schools during the $300 million deficit. It would also help pay for free SEPTA passes for students who are eligible. Lyft and Uber have come out and made statements about how they fear that this will hurt drivers and affect the cost of living crisis. Have you seen any of the No Kings protests happening? On Saturday, March 28th, another No Kings rally organized by Indivisible Philadelphia will be occurring throughout the city. Protesters will gather to protest against President Donald Trump and his administration.
New hopes for NASA have risen. NASA moved its moon rocket Artemis from their hangar at Kennedy Space Center out towards the launch pad on Friday in hopes of a launch involving 4 astronauts in a lunar fly-around in April, making this the first time since 1972 that astronauts will be sent to the moon. Here on the ground, we're seeing some more sunny weather. Let's check in with Jaden Crutchfield live outside Memorial Field to see what else we can expect.
Thank you, Allison. My name is Jaden Crutchfield, and this is your live weather hit. I'm currently standing on Memorial Field, where it is a sunny 75 degrees. As you can see, many students are outside enjoying the sunshine, and our friend Widener Wayne is wearing red and white to support the Phillies. We'll learn more about this in the Weather Center with Gage Grace. But first, let's go to sports with Anthony.
Coming up next at the Sports Desk, the Union look to find their stride. Multiple Widener athletes excelling on and off the field. Is the Sixers' playoff chance in jeopardy? All of that and more after the short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Wherever you go at Widener, you've always got your pride. Everywhere you go, and behind everything you do. And before you know it, you are working in your field, realizing your life's ambitions before you even leave Widener.
If you have a dream, come join us.
Widener University. Many roars,
one pride.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk. I'm Anthony Fedeli. The Philadelphia Eagles add to the wide receiver room as they welcome A.J. Brown's longtime friend Elijah Moore. Moore in 2022 on ESPN about his relationship with A.J. Brown said, "I wouldn't even call it a friendship. It's a family." Moore and Brown spent time together playing at Mississippi and are now reunited. Elijah Moore joins the Eagles on a one-year deal. The Birds stay active during free agency as they sign tackle Fred Johnson to a one-year contract. In the 2024 season, Johnson had 14 starts, mostly substituting for both Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson. On Wednesday, the city of Philadelphia looks to relocate the infamous Rocky statue from below the Art Museum steps to being placed inside the Art Museum. In the meantime, citizens can admire Sylvester Stallone's statue at the top of the steps. Then, on April 25th, visitors will be able to see the Rocky statue inside once the exhibition opens to the public. The Philadelphia 76ers are in desperation. Paul George took the hardwood for the 76ers last on January 29th in a win over the Sacramento Kings. George, 9-time All-Star, was then handed a 25-game suspension for violating the league's anti-drug policy. During the suspension, the Sixers struggled to stay afloat, going 13-12. With Paul George back in the lineup, Philly looks to put themselves in the playoff conversation. The Philadelphia Union are facing a historically poor start to the 2026 MLS season, losing 5 consecutive matches and remaining at the bottom of the table with 0 points. Following a 2-1 loss to Chicago Fire on March 21st, head coach Bradley Carnell is inspecting his lineup to find out what works. The Boys and Blues' next visit is Charlotte FC on April 4th. This Friday and Saturday, Widener women's and men's track team make their outdoor debut as they host a Danny Curran Invitational. The event will consist of many teams around the area competing in multiple events to earn their chance at gold. This is a 2-day meet and is set to get started at 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon. Huge shout out to Widener women's basketball Kimmy Cassiello, Ava Bear, and Riley Stackhouse on their selection to the CSC Academic All-District team, as well as our Widener men's basketball team Miles Bright on his selection, showing their dedication on and off the court. That is all for the sports desk. Up next, we send it over to Lola Geyer with World News.
Up next on World News, protests in Czechia continue and the global hit group BTS returns. After 4 years, stay tuned. Welcome to World News, where we cover the biggest stories from around the world. I'm Lola Geyer. A state of energy emergency has just been declared in the Philippines by President Ferdinand Marcos due to the ongoing war in the Middle East. Marcos stated that because Iran has shut down the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route, many Asian countries are unable to get any oil shipments. He also stated that the current stock of oil for the country is only good for the next 45 days, as petrol prices have more than doubled since the war broke out. The government is currently working to find other ways for the country to receive its fuel. However, the public has gotten increasingly upset, with many transport and service workers going on strike for the slow response from the government. Around 68 people have died from a military aircraft crash in southern Colombia. The plane crashed on Monday, transporting troops to another city. 128 people were on board, 115 of which were from the Army. 4 of those people are still missing. However, nearby residents and rescue services are currently working to calm the situation. The plane was a Hercules C-130, which was donated by the United States to Colombia in 2020. The reasoning behind the crash is still being investigated. However, Defense Minister Sanchez says that there are no signs of it being attacked by rebel groups. Protests in Czechia continue as tens of thousands of people rally in Prague, highlighting their concern about the state of democracy for the country. Protests rose after the government proposed a bill that reflects a Russian law that could potentially restrict personal freedoms and give the government full control over public radio and television. Billionaire Andrej Babiš, who is the current Prime Minister of Czech, has also experienced controversy, as it was shown that Babiš was responsible in a $2 million fraud case involving EU subsidies. Protesters claim that people like Babiš in power, alongside the newly proposed bill, reflects an autocratic government, potentially threatening the country's democracy. The protests were organized by the Million Moments for Democracy group, as more protests are planned to follow. BTS is back after being on a 4-year hiatus as the members complete their mandatory military service in South Korea. The group returned to the stage on Saturday, performing at Gwanghwamun Square in South Korea. BTS was given special permission by the Korean Heritage Service to live stream their performance on Netflix at this landmark, which dates back to the Joseon dynasty. The Netflix live stream hit a high of 18.4 million global viewers. The group released their album Arirang on Friday, achieving over 110 million Spotify streams in the first 24 hours, taking up the first 14 spots on the global chart. The group will kick off their world tour on April 9th in Gyeongsang, South Korea, covering 23 countries and 82 dates. Want to see them live? Well, book your plane tickets as all 41 stadium shows across North America and Europe have sold out. That's all for now. Let's head back to the desk with Alexis Hilton.
Thanks, Lola. A jury in Los Angeles found Meta and Google liable for designing social media platforms that encourage addiction among young users. On March 25th, Meta and Google had to pay the plaintiff $6 million in damages. Jurors found that Instagram's parent company Meta and Google's YouTube acted with malice, oppression, or fraud. The case centered on a now 20-year-old California woman who said the social media platforms contributed to her depressive and suicidal thoughts when she was a minor. The verdict came a day after a jury in New Mexico ordered Meta to pay $375 million in a separate trial. On March 24, 2026, fittingly National Cheesesteak Day, Philadelphia International Airport officially claimed the Guinness World Record for the longest line of cheesesteaks. Stretching across the connector between terminals B and C, the record-breaking display featured a continuous line of authentic sandwiches spanning 1,200 feet, roughly the length of 4 football fields. The effort required a massive collaboration between the airport's iconic vendors, Geno's Steaks, Chickies and Pete's, Tony Luke's, and Jim's South Street famous cheesesteaks, who combined forces to use nearly 1,000 pounds of ribeye and 225 pounds of cheese. After an official adjudicator verified the count, the historic mistake-free milestone concluded with the sandwiches being distributed to lucky passengers, TSA staff, and local food banks.
The Franklin Institute unveils its latest attraction in Philadelphia, Universal Studios Theme Parks, The Exhibition. This exhibit focuses on the science and history behind Universal Parks from 1964 to today. Their goal is to showcase the STEM behind each attraction and the magic woven into the shows. It runs until early September and is open to all ages. Whether you're a cinema enthusiast or curious about what happens behind the scenes, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Citizens Bank Park is shaking up its culinary lineup for the 2026 season with several high-profile player-inspired additions. Fans can now head to the Coca-Cola Corner for Sanchez sliders, a duo of honey-stung chicken tenders tossed in a house-made hot spice blend and served with garlic aioli and Grillo's pickles. For dessert, the Schwarbomb sundae packs a punch worthy of its namesake. It features soft-serve ice cream topped with a funnel cake, fried strawberry Uncrustable, fresh strawberry sauce, and fruity cereal pieces, all served in a souvenir 2026 MLB All-Star Game batting helmet. Beyond the menu, the ballpark's landscape is shifting as the iconic Harry Kay's Broadcast Bar and Grill has been rebranded as the Ghost Energy Deck. This revamped social space now serves specialty cocktails infused with Ghost Energy drinks, such as the Broad Street Bomber and Creamsicle Walk-Off. It maintains a tribute to the legendary Harry Callis through his nearby statue and the playing of High Hopes after every Phillies win.
Peddler's Village is open for its 7th annual Peeps in the Village event. Depicted as one of the most popular events in the Philly region, the event is open from March 9th through April 12th. It showcases a variety of sculptures and artwork made entirely from Peeps, featuring designs from popular shows like Stranger Things, Chopped, SpongeBob, and The Simpsons. They also include historical objects like the Liberty Bell. Artists from across the region submit their work to be judged, with the winner receiving $200. Admission to the event is free. Now let's head over to the Weather Center with our weather anchor Gage Grace to see this week's forecast.
Thank you so much, Alexis. My name is Gage, and this is your weekly weather update. Starting tomorrow, it's going to be pretty cloudy and raining, but in the morning, it's going to be 59 degrees. Towards the afternoon, reach 50 degrees, and then towards the evening, it's going to go back up to around 58 degrees. Next week, the warm weather is starting to come back. Starting Saturday, it's going to be sunny with a high of 44 and a low of 30. Sunday, it's going to be a little cloudy with a high of 56 and a low of 29. Monday, the rain will start with a high of 64 and a low of 44. Tuesday, it's going to be sunny with a high of 73 and a low of 58. And Wednesday, it's going to be raining, but it's going to be a high of 80 and a low of 51. Thank you so much for listening, and stay tuned because we'll be back right after this break.
Lots of fun events going on at Widener this week. Let's check them out. On March 27th, Phi Delta Theta and Delta Phi Epsilon are hosting Pi Phi in the University Center patio from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., where you can donate to Pi a brother or a sister in the face. Each whipped cream pie requires a donation of $1, and any additional toppings are $1 more. All donations will benefit the Live Like Lou Foundation and the Delta Phi Epsilon Educational Foundation. On Friday, March 27th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., the Council of Independent Organizations is hosting its CIO Spring Jam in the University Center atrium. There will be activities galore, card games, and lots of food. It will be a can't-miss, jam-packed night. This Friday, the Residence Hall Association invites you to join them in their Lights, Camera, Sundays event. The event will feature a chill movie and make your own Sunday bar. Participants are invited to bring their friends and blankets. The event will take place in Latham Hall from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Students are invited to RSVP for this event on Gage.
Widener is hosting an event where prospective science students may come to tour their facilities. Check-in is 9:30 at Kirkbride Hall. Students will have the opportunity to speak with faculty and students from many scientific majors, enjoy a complimentary lunch, and attend financial aid presentation. Registration is required to attend this event. You can register on Widener's website. Are you a Widener senior? Celebrate your senior year at Citizens Bank Park with a Phillies game. On Monday, March 30th at 4:30 p.m. to 11 p.m., Widener is hosting its senior night for the Phillies versus Nationals game. Enjoy an exciting night of baseball, great company, and unforgettable memories. Your ticket includes a meal voucher, making it the perfect night to relax, eat, and cheer on Philadelphia. Get your ticket today.
On Monday, March 30th, 2026, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the UC Atrium, the Black Student Union is hosting a tabling event. They will be collecting donations of non-perishable food, personal care items for students, and cash to buy supplies to help students with pantries around campus. These donations ensure everyone on campus has access to essential resources. On Tuesday, March 31st, from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. in the University Center Atrium, the University Honors Program brings students the coziest event on campus, pancakes and PJs. Dress cozy and bring your friends because free food will be served.
Would you like a chance to present your own small business to your peers? Widener Student Government Association is hosting the Student Entrepreneurship Fair on April 1st at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Academic Quad. The Student Entrepreneurship Fair is a social event where student business owners can present their products, services, and creative work to the campus community. Widener's Mental Health Advocate Program will be hosting a table outside the Pride Cafe on April 2nd from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop by to learn more about the program and how you can showcase your commitment to promoting mental health throughout the Widener community. This program will increase awareness of mental health resources as well as reduce stigma. Widener's first spring concert will be on April 2nd at 7 p.m. featuring the band's percussion and jazz ensemble in Kapelski Recital Hall. The second concert is on April 9th starting at 7 p.m. in Latham Hall. This event will showcase the wind ensemble along with the flute and clarinet choirs. Admission is free for both events. Thank you for watching this episode of Woo TV. For Gage Grace, Jaden Crutchfield, Anthony Fedeli, Lola Geyer, Allison Padula, and all the behind-the-scenes crew, I'm Alexis Hilton. Good night.